Hello everyone, and I hope everyone is doing well. I mean, hope you have a very good weekend. And today, so we can connecting the Microsoft A Summit. So we have a lot of speakers. They're sharing their knowledge and different tools and different platforms. So today we have with us Dr. Gomati S, and she is Microsoft MVP and MCT, and she is the MCT community lead as well. So I just pull Gomadeka into the stage. Then probably we can start the session related to this how this Power BI magic in really helpful for the cop. In real time and all everything we can learn it from Gomadeka. So let me add Gomadeka into stage. Let me Hi Gomadeka, how are you?
Hi, Pratap. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So what about you? Yeah.
Great, great.
So yeah. So please introduce yourself and then we can start the session.
Sure, Pratap. Sure. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're joining from. Today we'll be talking about the Power BI, that is Copilot prompt for Power BI. Okay, so this is our Microsoft AI Summit. You are all in Microsoft AI Summit. So you will learn Copilot prompts, like starting from generating a dummy data. If you are not aware of any specific topic in Power BI, how to search it in Copilot prompts, all these basic prompts and required prompts I'll be talking about. Okay, so to just give a small introduction about myself, I'm Dr. Komati. I did my doctorate in machine learning and data science, and then I became a Microsoft certified trainer, and then Microsoft most valuable professional. And this year, I became a MCT community lead as well. So I'm also a Microsoft Learn expert. I have published nearly 5 books, but recently 2 books which are related to Microsoft. That is what, like 2 books last year, 2024. I have released on Business Central. Asia, I'm an Asia and India Book of Record holder, and I'm MCT Enric Lima Asia Award winner. Okay, so this is what happened in the 2024, and you can see that this is what my book, and I am a MVP for two category. One is a data and AI, as well as a business central. There is a business application. So I have nearly 8+ certification in Microsoft technologies. So this is all about me. And if you want to know more about me, for example, if you want to connect with me through LinkedIn or any other social media handle, you can just scan this code and connect with me. Okay, so let's just talk about Copilot, because everywhere it is. It's not like it's not a future technology. It's already we are living in that era and that technology, right? That is, you might have heard about ChatGPT. Okay, like ChatGPT is from OpenAI, whereas Copilot is by Microsoft. So what how you can use this Copilot, that is what we are going to discuss. Okay, so what are the prompts which you can use it for, specifically for Power BI? Okay, how to write the prompt, and how you can get more and more like how to interact with the Copilot better. So that is what I'm going to discuss with you, and you will be at least you will be learning 5 to 10 prompts which you can use it for your Power BI projects or anything. Okay, so being in industry, like I've been in training industry for more than 14 years. So what I used to see is, what whenever you wanted to get trained on Power BI, like you require a dummy data. Yes. So yes, of course you can get it from all Kaggle, open repository, open sources, open data repositories. But anyhow, like you may be having some requirements, right? Like this is what the data I want, this is what the data type should be. So those requirements that open database cannot fulfill, right? So in that case, so that is what the very first requirement that every data analyst or those who wanted to learn Power BI, they'll be having this. Okay, so generating dummy data, I'll be telling you how to write a prompt to generate a dummy data first. Okay, and then I'll be telling you, like, what type of chart. Okay, I have my data. Okay, I have my data with me, but what chart I should create it with the data? Okay, so I'm talking about if you are a new to learn this Power BI, you should know all these things, but we will understand or we will get to know only if we have some experience, right? So how to get that experience with the help of Copilot? Okay, so you have to write something, you have to talk to the Copilot. Okay, what is the talking, what is the language? We are communicating, we are human beings, so we will communicate with English or Hindi or Telugu, Malayalam, so some language you'll be having. But what if you want to talk to a machine, or if you want to talk to an AI? It's an artificial intelligence, right? You cannot talk it in a colloquial way, right, or some other language. So that is why we have prompt. Okay, prompt is what something which you want to discuss, means you wanted to share with the AI, you will be using a prompt. Okay, and those who understand what is prompt, they are called as a prompt engineers. Got it? So this is how it will be. So here you can see that we have these things, like we have Copilot. Okay, so this is a link, I'm just sharing it in the message. If you want to use this, you can also use that. Okay, so yes, so here you can see that it's your Copilot. URL is copilot.microsoft.com. Okay, so once you launch it, you can see here like you have this interface for Copilot. So the first thing you can see is what you can add. Like you can just, if you want to upload something, if you want to upload a document or an image or something, if you want to upload it and ask, you can use this. Okay, those who are new to the Copilot, you can learn, you can understand this. Okay, and the second one is like this is new. If you want to go ahead with a new, start with a new chat. And on the right side, you can see this is a talking, like talking to the Copilot. For example, if you're not okay with typing something, or if you have a big thing to discuss with Copilot, you can use this talk to Copilot. Okay, we are going to type it here. So the very first rule of a prompting is what? You should be clear, you should not use the jargons, it should be simple. Okay, you should not be talking like you're talking to a friend. Okay, so we will be like discussing, chit chatting something, right? So talk properly, like write the prompt properly. So the very first task is what? We have to generate a dummy data for Power BI. Okay, for the Power BI visualization, etc., etc. So what I'll be typing is what? Generate. So this is the prompting, like exact keyword for prompting. What I'm telling this Copilot is what you are going to generate. But what you're going to generate? A sample data set. Okay, I'm just telling a sample data set. Okay, either you can just go ahead with a sample data set for sales. Okay, so that will be very specific for sales. Okay, or sample sales data, anything. Let's just go ahead with this. I'm just giving like generate sample a sample sales data. Once if you press enter, it will start generating a sample sales data with its own understanding, like month, product, region, salesperson, unit sold, unit price, total revenue. Okay, only you have 7 columns here. Okay, but what if you want to be very clear about, I want these column, then you have to tell that. Okay, generate a sales data with the column. Okay, so you have to say what are the columns you want really. So I want the columns like a date, I don't want like a month. Okay, with month, how will you understand which year you created the sales, right? So call date, it should be a date, and then you can see that you can mention like product ID. Okay, product name. So you should be very clear when you're typing and asking for that. Okay, sales amount, and if you want to add something like region, customer, sales amount, fine, unit product, unit product, like unit, so sales amount, like something like whatever you wanted is just add it. Okay, like column date, product ID, product name, sales, whatever you want, you can just add it here. So here you can see that this is like previously we have entered the prompt, right? What it has entered is what it is asking. If you want any follow up question, follow up prompt here, like what trends you can identify in the sales data, can you provide this data in the JSON format, or what are some ways to visualize the sales data? So it is creating some more prompts for you. Like if you want to just proceed with your prompting, you can just go ahead with asking further questions. Okay, so this is what its idea. Okay, so let me just proceed with that. Like, I'm just going to enter here, like this is what I want. If you are very specific about discounts, like you can just add the discounts and discount percentage, like if you want to keep on adding, if you want like 20 columns, you can specify that. But if you specify, it will give you accordingly. Okay, so I'm just pressing enter for this. So what happens, it is creating me properly. Okay, like date, product ID, product name, sales region, customer, discount. So now what happens, like it has created some sample data, like I think 24688 records it has. Okay, and you can see that it's a 2025 data. So if you want to generate any specific rows, okay, for example, give me at least 50 records or 50 rows for my table or something, generate 50 more rows or records. So you can just tell, okay, so what you really need, you can just tell that. Okay, so you can see here it is creating nearly 50 records for you. Okay, that is what it is. So you can just ask, you can just tell, like, okay, this is what I really want. You have to talk to it. Okay, so you can see that it is creating your 50 records and additional data. It means the further classification. So further customization, if you want, you can just go ahead. So this is how it will be. And it is asking, can you help me analyze these data further? How can I format this data in Excel or generate more records with the varied sales amounts and the date? Okay, it is also suggesting you some more prompting options here. Okay, so now I feel like I want it in a CSV format, I want it in a downloadable format. Okay, so I'm just asking, can you give me about data in a downloadable format? Okay, so I'm just asking for that to create something in a downloadable format. So unfortunately, I can create a downloadable the files directly. However, we can easily create it with the comma separate. So if it is not possible, or if it is not ready to download, it will tell you like this. So I can simply copy and paste it. Okay, so this is how it will be. It will just give you like what is the possibilities for you. Okay, and you can see that it is creating some data for 2026. Okay, so this is actually, I think it is predicting and it is creating, but you can just go ahead with asking. Okay, you can just say like, I want the sales data between 2023 to 2025. Okay, so 2025, 2023 and to 2025. Now it's February, right? So February 15. Okay, I'm just going ahead with February 15. So it will generate. Okay, so far you can see that I didn't complicate it much, right? I haven't given more thing into the same in a single prompt. Like few will be prompting like this. Okay, create, for example, create a dummy data. These are the columns I want. Okay, they'll be telling. Okay, and then again, like they'll be adding something. So blah 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 blah. So if you are adding multiple things in a same prompt, sometime it will confuse and it will not give you any result for that. Okay, so what I would suggest you is, what, make it step by step, so that you can, if you want to just make if you want to rewrite it, or if you want to correct it, it will happen. But you have to go with a step by step. Okay, so this is one way of creating. Or else you can also go ahead with giving me a random data set to analyze the website traffic. Okay, so like date, page views, unique visitors, bounce rate, etc. Okay, so all these things you have to just give some proper keyword for prompting, like generate, create, something like that. Okay, so this is what generating dummy data. Okay, so first thing we have just completed. Now let me just ask that to create a charts and visualization. Okay, so what I will do is, like, with this data. Okay, well, with this I have these data, right? What are the various charts I can create from the dummy data you have generated. Okay, you have generated. So what it will tell you is what are the various types of chart you can create. So it's generally telling you you have to create a bar chart, compare a sales amount from different products, regions, or customer. Okay, line chart showing the trend, pie chart, column charts, stacked bar chart, scatter chart plot, area, like everything. It is telling, it is almost, it is bringing all these charts which are available in the Power BI. Okay, so now what you can just make it even more better is what, if you are new to this particular Power BI, what you can ask is what, further you can refine. Okay, how do I generate, okay, or generate or create the first chart, it shows the first chart, right? Compare the products. You can just copy that, paste it here, and ask that to give me the detailed steps. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I haven't specified that I wanted to do it in Power BI. Okay, but generally I'm just talking, I know, like Power BI is in my mind, but I'm not communicating with the prompting. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll press enter. Now what happens, it is trying to show it in an Excel or a Google sheet. Why? Because I haven't set the context clearly. I haven't specified which tool you wanted to. It has to tell that, which tool it has to guide me in order to create this bar chart. Okay, that it this is not telling that, right? I didn't tell that, right? So that is why it is generally showing, which is commonly asked by everyone. Okay, so what I have to tell whenever you are writing something, first one is be clear, second one is make it simple, and the third one is set the context. Okay, tell what is the tool, give me the detailed steps in to create it in Power BI. Okay, so what I'm telling is what, all these things are there. Okay, tell me how to create it in Power BI. So what happens is was Copilot is clearly telling me that, okay, you have to open Power BI desktop. You have to click on home, get data to import your sales data into the Power BI. You have to select the data source. Like it is giving you all these steps right from loading. Right from loading, it is telling you like this is how you have to just go through. Like if this is how you have to just do everything step by step. Okay, so get the data, and then if you want, you can transform, and then you can just drag the tiles. You know, it is generally telling you like you can just drag the tiles here, tiles, click the chart title to edit the descriptive title. You have to just visualize this, add the bar chart, product name, access, and the sales amount to the values area. So this is how, so you can get some proper visualization guidance, like it will teach you like how you have to go through. Okay, it's always good to be very clear, to be very precise, and to tell properly that this is what I want. Okay, or else it will give you something else for you, like it cannot guess that this is what you're asking. Okay, so whatever the tool which is asked often, based on that it will be answering you. Okay, now I wanted to understand, like here you can see, we all know that, okay, bar chart, I have, it has mentioned me that, okay, you have a bar chart, you have a line chart, pie chart, etc, etc, right? So if I'm a newbie, like I'm a novice in Power BI, how can I know which type of chart to be used for which type of data, right? So what I'll be doing is what, I can ask Copilot, explain the difference between bar chart and column chart. Okay, or stacked bar chart. Let us just take it as a stacked bar chart. when to use which visual. Okay, so I don't know this difference. So what I'll be doing is, what I'll just ask it, like, what is this, when can I use this, how to use this. Okay, if you want to just go ahead with how, you can ask. Okay, so you can see here a bar chart is a graph that uses a bars to represent length of the each bar. Simple comparison is showing categories, clarity. So it is telling you when you want to compare individuals across the different categories, when you have a single series of data, when you need to highlight the difference between distinct categories, etc. If it in case of a stacked bar chart, it shows like when you want to show the composition of each category and compare the total values. When you need a highlight when you need to highlight the contribution of each series to the total and comparing the part of the whole. So when you can use this, okay, and also it is adding some more example for you. Suppose you have a sales data of the three product in a different region, north, south, east, like when how you can use the bar chart and how you can use a stacked bar chart. And it is also telling you like bar chart examples, like how it will be. Okay, so this is how, like, which chart you have to choose and how you have to choose it, completely depend on your data and your choice. Okay, like this. If you wanted to create something like how do I use Power Query to clean then transform the messy data, Power Query is also there in Excel. Okay, you should be very clearly mentioning that how to use Power Query editor in Power BI to clean and transform the data. So you should be very careful while using your context, or while using your prompt, while using the keywords, like it is how often you are using some specific keyword which prompt can like a copilot can understand. That is how it should be. Okay, so this is the main thing which you can start with. And like major problem with the Power BI is what the um finding the right visual, like which visual it is, like how you want to go ahead with, how I want to choose the visual, and how it can be like better, whether this visual is better and good for my data, whether it is the right visual for my data. So there will be a lot of such questions will be there for you. Okay, so in such a case you can just use the copilot. Prompting in copilot is not a difficult task as well as not an easy task. When you use a better words, better keywords, um, better context and better clarity, it will just help you out. And if you are just asking it very generally, it won't give you much result. So let us try to create something else. For example, you can ask these things. Okay, like for example, if you want to, what is custom visuals in Power BI? Okay, and how it actually differs, differs with normal visuals. Okay, so what is the difference? Or normal visuals, or like inbuilt visual, like directly available visual in Power BI. So you can ask this. Okay, so it is telling you that Power BI custom visual are visually created by the developers to provide additional or alternative ways. Okay, so this is how it will provide. So it will just tell you like how this visuals are customized. You can find like who has created this customized visual, and how it can be used, like when you have to go ahead with the custom visuals, and what it is. Okay, so everything it is telling you, like standard visuals which are built in, differences between these two things, and when to use the custom visual, when should you go ahead with the standard visuals. So Everything clearly mentioned in the for the difference, like this. You can also ask what is the difference between this chart and that chart, when to use what is the use case, case study. And also you can ask them, for example, if you have some scenario, like like if you want to understand DAX. Okay, so what is DAX, when to use it, how to use it. Okay, so everything. So whatever the questions you have related to the Power BI, okay, you can just ask it with the Copilot, so it will help you to properly restructure it, like how it is, how you wanted to use the DAX. Like for a DAX is a formula language, the Excel formula, similar to Excel formulas, which is used in Power BI. It uses functions and operators, the context awareness, calculated columns, calculated rows. So everything with an example. It is giving you a clear example, like if it is a calculated column, like how it will be calculated. Measures, calculated measure, how you have to calculate this measure. And then if it is a DAX functions, generally and commonly used functions, it is giving you all the details, like basic and essential details which are available for the DAX, right? And when you can apply these DAX functions, that is also available here, right? When you have to use this, how you have to use this. So here you can clearly understand, if you have any queries related to like this DAX, how can I use that. Okay, and this is how to write this formula in the DAX. Okay, so everything you can just ask it with the help of the Copilot. So Copilot gives you a lot of more features, like if you are using, for example, if you are using a chat GPT or something else, you have some limitations. But in Copilot, you won't be facing such limitations. Okay, so you can just ask, and it will give you a lot of answers for you. And with Copilot, like wherever you are getting stuck, okay, you can just discuss with the Copilot, ask Copilot. Okay, so these are the various prompts, like you have to ask. So you should be very clear about how to write the prompt. Okay, and that which is like you can also go ahead with there are various types of prompting. For example, first thing is what, like you can use the key techniques like clarity and specificity. As I told, you should be telling like explain in Power BI, like that is how you have to ask what is the tool you wanted to find, what is the tool you are using, and how you wanted to get it done. Okay, that is the first thing which you have to be very clear about. Okay, and the second one is like role based prompting. I don't know, I'm not sure whether you are aware of role based prompting. For example, you can say you are a Power BI expert, explain how to use the DAX for the financial analysis, or I am a Power BI expert, or I am a data analyst, or you can say I'm a data analyst with the 1 year experience or 0 year experience. So this is what role you are just trying to set a role there, and you are trying to explain the situation, right? So this is what role based prompting. Okay, and then next one is like a few shot prompting, which is like you are asking that to suggest some data visualization. For example, for the sales data, a bar chart shows the revenue per region and a pie chart shows the product by sales. Suggest another visualization for the trend analysis. So you can say that, okay, this is what. Okay, so you're just giving some example for that. Okay, and then you are asking some more examples. For example, this is how, like for a sales data, so these two charts are used, but how can you suggest even more better trend analysis. Okay, this is, we call it as a few shot prompting. Okay, and next type of another type of key characteristics of prompting is what the chain of thought prompting. So what is that? Instead of calculate, like instead of simply telling calculate a profit margin in Power BI, You can say, like, first explain the formula for the profit margin, because if you're not aware about the profit margin, like can ask that to explain. First explain the formula for profit margin and then provide the DAX expression to calculate it in the Power BI. So it will explain you the profit margin, and then it will just tell you. So this is what we call it as a chain of thought. Okay. And you can also use the constraints and formatting. Find like constraints and formatting, in the sense that that is what we did first, right? Generate a dummy data. Okay. So this is what the constraint, you're just setting a constraints here. Okay. Constraint, you are asking that to format the data. Fine. So this is how you can just ask data to make it even more better, to write it, to create a prompts and everything. Okay. And this is how you can write it. There are various types of key techniques, and this is how it goes. Okay. So some examples like data generation, which we discussed, the DAX formula, chart recommendations, there are a lot of things, like even report automation. If you are just doing, if you want to go ahead with the report automation, you can just try that as well. Okay, so how can I automate Power BI reports? And You can also try with like troubleshooting. So why my Power BI visuals are not updating, or why this error? If you are getting some error, you can also tell that why this error. Okay, so this is how you can just make it even more better. Fine. So any doubts if you have related to the Power BI and the Copilot, how to use this Copilot? So if you want to use Copilot in Power BI, like Power BI has Copilot capabilities, okay, but for that you have to get the license. Okay, you need the license there. So that is why it's not possible directly in the Power BI, but of course you can use this one. Like you can use the what to say, like you can use the Copilot here. Okay, so this is what we have, Copilot, right? You can use this for your Power BI. Okay. So yes, we are nearing to the end. So this is all about the today's session. If you have any questions, please leave that in the comment section. I will be happy to help you. And also, if you have any questions, you can ask me today. I'm just stopping here. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. If you don't have question, yes, I think we can leave. We can end the session here.